When you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
Paralyzed? Dumbstruck?
No.
Ah, Halo. While Halo might not be nearly as influential as it was 15 years ago, just the name still carries a lot of weight. Halo is really what made me fall in love with video games. While I love so many franchises, Fallout, The Legend of Zelda, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, Grand Theft Auto, throw in some Pokemon, some Persona, Naughty Dog, I fucking love Uncharted, The Last of Us, all amazing. For me, Halo will always be the king. For me, especially as a teenager and as a child, Halo was the pinnacle of gaming. It offered an amazing story, an amazing campaign experience, and incredible multiplayer. On top of all of that, it offered incredible communities of players, and that's just something I haven't really seen replicated by any game in recent memory. And despite Halo's recent blunders and mistakes, it's somehow still alive. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome to Unexplored Halo. If you watched my Unexplored series in the Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, or Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, then you know exactly what to expect. We will be exploring various Halo campaigns, looking at places players might overlook, kind of secrets or tips and stuff like that. I've been wanting to make this series for a long time, but I was unsure about how to go about it, but here it is. Sit back, relax, and let's check out Unexplored Halo. Today we're going to be focusing on the first mission of Halo 3, which might be my favorite game of all time, Sierra 117. So let's see what we can find out about this absolutely incredible game. So right at the beginning of the level, as you come out from the crash area, there is this waterfall, and you can actually jump up the waterfall quite a bit before you'll hit an invisible barrier. Now, I just wanted to point out that this waterfall is here, but most players would just run right on past it and not pay it any mind. But right next to it, we can actually see all of the Marines and Sergeant Johnson climbing up the cliff here and going to, outside the map, really, some Dr. Bosch kind of vibes here. But yeah, they will reappear later. And at this first fight, this is the first fight in Halo 3, there's only one way through it. You have to fight. But if you perform this little kind of glitchy jump up here really quick as you exit the crash site, as you see me doing, you can sneak on up here, and then you can kind of do an awkward jump onto this cliffside, walk along the cliff, and then you can jump into this tree and exit, and this will prevent any of the Covenant from spawning, besides the Brute and a few Grunts that already have spawned, and you can just run through without any problems, avoiding that entire first fight. Pretty wild, and very useful if you're playing on Legendary difficulty, or if you're just trying to get through the level as fast as possible. Of course, here is the normal fight that takes place in this area. You will always be spotted by the Brute, and then a Phantom will show up. If we come over here, we can also find the Blind Skull, and obviously this is probably pretty well documented at this point, but yeah, it's there. Also, my good friend, the Army of Badgers, helped me out with some of these glitches and stuff, so I really appreciate his help. And then later in the mission with the Sleeping Grunts, this initial fight can be skipped by jumping up on this platform. It's a very awkward kind of jump. Basically, you jump towards the grassy section, hold down crouch, and hold down forward, and you'll kind of crawl up the cliff, and then you can just kind of run through this entire area. This is even possible on Legendary, which you just saw. However, if you run through the next part, it is quite difficult to do on Legendary, so it's probably in your best interest to kill everyone. Now, the next part, in this part where we see two Pelicans that are fighting off the Covenant, you can actually jump in the water here. There is no kill barrier in the water. I just wanted to highlight that Halo has an amazing sandbox in its campaigns, unlike other FPS games where campaigns are extremely linear. Of course, Halo's campaign is linear, But, it has a lot of ways the player can approach how to deal with different situations. Like, take this part for example. Normally you have to fight your way through all of these grunts and brutes, but by jumping in the water we can approach this collapsed section of the dam, and with a relatively easy grenade jump we can boost our way onto the dam and jump past all of the Covenant. This brute might be a little pissed off that we're trying to skip this section, but hey, who cares? Now, this next section of the game, after we get through the Jackal Sniper Forest, which is pretty easy on any difficulty that's not Legendary, but even on Legendary it's pretty difficult. After we get through the forest, we come to this open area with a large battle. And we can actually skip this entire battle with a bit of a tricky grenade jump. This jump is a little bit tricky to do, but very useful, and we can skip this entire fight. After this, I decided to watch Sergeant Johnson and the Marines. I decided to kill the Marines just to see what happened, but I couldn't kill Sergeant Johnson, and then he vanished into thin air. After that, we can easily go on to the final part of the game, and we can actually skip most of the next fight by just running underneath the dam, which is kind of funny. However, the brute chieftain will likely confront you sooner or later if you take this method. This brute right there was pissed off, and there's the chieftain. But, we can just kind of jump past him because we're only on normal difficulty. When I entered this next room, I was surprised to find all of the Marines are dead because I killed them earlier. My actions had an impact on the future. But before finishing the mission, let's head back into the Jackal Sniper Forest. If you hop up on this ledge right before the exit, we can find a family of monkeys. Wow, that's something, isn't it? Don't know why they're here. They're not really monkeys, they're more like cavemen or something like that. Now, another thing I want to point out is in this area, when you're fighting, there is a brute chieftain hanging off the phantom. And you can actually kill him. With 2 players, it's a lot easier than if you're by yourself. But there you go, you can see he dies, and his equipment will unfortunately fall in the river, I guess, below, or a lake. And then you can watch it kind of drift off into the corner, and eventually it'll all sink. It's really unfortunate because he has a grav hammer and an invincibility power-up. However, if you fall on this lower cliff, be prepared to die unless you have a grenade-to-grenade jump. I couldn't get up. And moving on to the final fight, earlier I mentioned you can just run on the underneath part of the dam. However, you can actually climb to the top of this tower, and you can use this kind of as a sniping area and get a really good vantage point over the enemies below you. Also, I just wanted to point out, I always forget, but I think it's hilarious how janky it is to climb things in Halo. The characters literally just walk up. Of course, it's kind of part of the sandbox mechanic that Halo has, but I just find it highly amusing. Now, another thing I want to point out is, well, the next skull, and we can take a bit of a vacation in this final part of the game. So, of course, if we run along this edge here, and we go all the way to the back, we can find the, well, iron skull, so make sure you pick that up. And then we can actually perform the elevator jumping glitch, where you and your friend time their jump together in order to create an elevator. You do this by walking into a corner and timing your jumps with each other in order to create this lifting effect. It's a little bit difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. After that, have your friend kill themselves, and then they will spawn above your head, up on the cliff face above you. Then after this, if they walk up the cliff, they will eventually make it to the top. Now, if you kill yourself, though, the game really won't like this, but your friend can make his way past these rocks onto the next layer, and then you are free. Now, it might look like you will fall off and die if you walk into the really shiny part, but trust me, you won't die. You just kind of find a stairwell to heaven, or stairway to heaven. After that, you can kind of just explore outside of the map. However, for the most part, there's really not a whole lot up here, but there are 3 things of interest. As I said earlier, the stairway to heaven is located here. And also, if we travel over towards the middle of this out of bounds area, we can find this really random giant hole. I don't know what purpose this hole is. I actually asked my friend to wait in there as I progressed the game to see if like phantoms or a pelican spawns in there, but we couldn't figure it out. We don't know why that hole is there. If you know why, please post it below in the comment section below. Now, if you travel really far, you can actually get to the other side of the river, and you can just see a really kind of glitchy part of the map, but there's really nothing over here, and if you jump into the river, you will, well, just die. There is still a kill barrier, quite unfortunately. And the last thing of interest over here is there is another caveman. If you go to the ledge just above the ledge that we used to get over here towards the Iron Skull, we can find this lone monkey sitting on the cliff. Normally you can only see this monkey in theater mode or with a sniper rifle, but we can actually approach him by using this glitch. So that's pretty interesting, pretty funny. I don't know why his blood is red. I always thought that was a bit cruel, but hey, it is what it is. And the last thing I wanted to show off is another map exit glitch, or in Halo terminology, another vacation. When you get to the part with the sleeping grunts, kill everyone. Now, I might need your help with this glitch because according to the wiki, you can use this as a shortcut. However, I am still unsure exactly how this is a shortcut, but I do know how to exit the map. After killing everyone and moving to the next area, the game will lag a tiny bit and you'll get a checkpoint. If you'll come back, you'll notice that the way you came in is now blocked off. You can jump on top of this small rock and you can jump up on this ledge. After that, you can jump across to this other rock and you can kind of sneak your way up to this next rock. It might be a little bit difficult to do, as you can see me here having some struggles, but you can crouch up on it after some tries, like so, and then you can jump up to this little ramp, and then you can jump across, and if you hold or hug the wall on that jump, you will be allowed to exit the map. If you're not hugging the wall, like I was, then the map will kick you out. There's an invisible barrier there, but if you hug the wall during the jump, you'll go past the invisible barrier. And here we can see that we are now outside of the map. Now, obviously up here we are outside of the map and we can kind of walk around and we have that weird shiny glitch that we saw earlier. However, if we try to go around all the way towards the next area, it is very hard to do so. And maybe it is possible, maybe I lack patience, but I tried doing this a few times and every single time I fell down. I don't know how this is a shortcut. It seems a lot faster to me to just keep running through the map. But if you guys know why or how to perform this kind of trick or glitch better, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, I just wanted to mention, if you kill the Arbiter, you can take his energy sword in this level. It is possible to get an energy sword in this level. However, you really only got one kill with this energy sword, so make sure you use it wisely. Alright everyone, and that finishes this episode of Unexplored Halo. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something about the mission Sierra 117. This mission has so much nostalgia for me. I still remember getting Halo 3 in an Xbox 360 for my birthday, and playing this game all night with my friends that night at my birthday party at a sleepover. One of my favorite memories as a child. This game is absolutely incredible, and I really look forward to exploring all of the Halo missions in the Unexplored Halo. If you guys have any recommendations for a future level or future location, future idea, please post them in the comment section below. And as always, until next time.